Someone you should know. A program about people you know, and even more that you don't. Hosted by Stuart Sachs, veteran, husband, father, and grandfather. Now, here's your host, Stuart Sachs.
Well, welcome to another edition of Someone You Should Know from beautiful Frisco, Texas. KVGI Radio live without limits, and I am in the studio with Becka Corbitt.
Hello.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Becka is the owner and publisher of Frisco Life magazine, and we're going to be spending this hour talking about a lot of things, really. But the one thing that stands out in my mind when I look at Frisco Life magazine is it is so refreshing to read a magazine that has absolutely no negativity whatsoever in it, from cover to cover.
That's a good thing.
It's a very good thing because it's the kind of publication that somebody wants to sit down and not only read from cover to cover, but it becomes like a coffee table book and stay there for reference. And that's probably the first thing that I want maybe to talk about a little bit is Frisco Life magazine is part of Lifestyle Publications, which is a national company.
Right.
And I understand that there are publications in more than half of the states in the country, but they are all independently owned and operated.
Exactly, yes. We are up to right at 100 publications right now,
Wow.
and growing. So, yeah, it's
and I
exciting.
noticed that most of them are either in the suburban areas of large metropolitan areas, like we are, or they are in smaller towns that just want to have an upscale publication.
Yeah, it's our target is affluent homes in all of our communities where each publication is located. And it's very much a community-driven magazine. And I like what you said, positive. We want it to stay on the coffee table. We want it to be highly engaged in, so.
No, I mean, I think I can speak on behalf of a lot of the population. Mm-hmm. There are so many magazines that are on the rack, and so many of them are just exploiting the news and people.
Yeah. This
is about people. Everything about Frisco Life has to do with Frisco.
Exactly.
It's businesses, it's people, it's corporations, it's movers and shakers. Exactly. And everybody is put in a positive light. Mm-hmm. I've got a list of some of the columns that you have that around town. There's usually a culinary,
which is our press release type of column.
Yeah. Good times. Mm-hmm. A lot of articles about giving back to the community.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One's called Hotspot. This is, folks, I can't say it any other way, but this is a feel-good magazine. It's a magazine that you have to follow, and you can follow it online.
Yes, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We have a website for Frisco Life, so we're Twitter, so we're really pushing the magazine out digitally. We know how important that is. So yes, find us online and follow us.
The website is
FriscoLifePubs.com.
FriscoLifePubs.com. And go on there, and it'll show you the current issue, and you can go through and look at. You might have to hit the plus button to.
Yeah, at the very bottom it says, "Look at our most recent issue," and it takes you over to issue. And in just a few months, we're super excited. Lifestyle Publications is putting together an amazing new website for all of us that will link to our individual websites called City Lifestyle. That's going to give all of our communities an even broader and amazing target. So there's going to be opportunities for advertising there, and we're going to be bringing influencers from all over the country to be part of our individual communities.
What a great idea, because let's face it, most people, even a large majority of the people here, are from someplace else.
Exactly. Oh,
and
that's
this
true.
way kind of lets you go back to your upbringing and see what's going on.
It'll have in the search engine where you can put any state, city, and so then you can see if you're going like if you're going to spend the weekend, or the week in Florida, you can put in right here what you want to do there, and you can actually bring up articles, restaurants that we're going to be reviewing and making sure we highlight. So definitely, like you said, it's a great way to connect back to where you came from.
And I'm signed up for your emails, and I get
Okay,
the emails
good.
that show you what's going on in town.
Yes.
Sports events, art events,
Definitely.
the culinary events that are going on, and you can help. Hey, what do I want to do this weekend? Well, you can
Exactly.
go to that publication, and it'll tell you, and you have your choices.
Right. And if you ever want to submit something, just go to our website, and it'll have a place where you can see where you can actually sign up for our e-newsletter, as well as submit an activity that you have going on. We'll definitely see if we have space each issue to put that.
LifestylePubs.com.
Frisco Life
Frisco
Pubs.
Life
Yes,
Pubs.
it's Frisco
Okay.
Live Pubs.
Okay. You'll have to say that a few more times.
Yes.
I'll probably fracture it again anyway. But that's the main source, and go to it and just explore and just
Yes.
see. I get really thrilled every time I see the magazine each month, and all, because I'm a people person. You do in
Yes.
print what I do here on the radio. Someone you should know.
Yes.
I just love talking about people and finding
That's
people
awesome.
that have great backgrounds, have great careers,
Yeah.
have great and unusual hobbies.
Yes.
And that's the kind of stuff that when I want to sit down and pick up a magazine, that's what I want to read. I don't want to read about all the other side of the world.
Right. We
and-
get enough of that every day. when we
I
turn-
mean, it's in your face
Yes.
constantly. I've learned that, but the two words that I probably despise the most now are breaking news.
yeah.
I
I feel bad most of the time about, I don't keep up with the news. Probably not a good thing to admit, but I really I don't want to get down and discouraged. So I just don't keep up. And
But for the most part, you're not in the news business.
no, I'm not.
No,
Yeah.
you're.
I want to tell
you're-
people's stories.
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
in the feature
Yeah.
business.
Right. Yeah.
And,
feature you.
And I remember growing up when it was breaking news, it was because of a disaster or something somewhere in the world.
Right.
Every broadcast starts with breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really breaking news anymore because everybody's doing it.
Yes.
But
So now when you see feel good story, or not just something that's good and inspiring, it's a little bit unusual, right? So you do want to engage in that and read about it. And so we're always looking for great stories in the community.
for instance, and this happens to be the cover of the of the
Yes.
current issue.
March issue. I just got this yesterday at my door.
The ink is still wet.
It's
But
funny.
you read this article about the
David
two gentlemen
Sayo.
that are on the cover. Now, it not only wants you to understand what the food is all about, but you want to make a reservation
Exactly.
and go.
And you should. Amazing restaurant.
That's what you gain, I think, from a publication like this
Mm-hmm.
is the ability to take it to the next level, and that is to
Exactly.
enjoy what's in there. Be it an article about a person, about a place, about an event. You want to take advantage of it and do it.
Exactly.
On the email you just posted this weekend, there is a 4-college baseball tournament that's going on over at Dr. Pepper Park. Well, I didn't even know that it was going to be there. I saw it because of the weekly email blast that you send out.
That's awesome to hear. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
But that's the important part of having a community magazine and a community connection like Frisco Life is because we are all surrounded by so much to do, and you don't know exactly. And then you
Right.
find out about something that was last weekend, and you say, "Oh, I wish I had known about that. I
Yes.
would have gone."
Exactly.
Now, how did you first get involved with Frisco
With
Life?
Frisco Life.
Yes.
So back in May.
Maybe I should go back even further.
Further.
Your background. You're from Louisiana
I was
originally.
born in Louisiana. Parents are both from Louisiana, and I only lived there till I about 4 or 5 years old. Then we came to Arlington, and
Okay.
my dad attended seminary in Arlington. He was a pastor, then became a missionary, and so then at 8 we moved to Bolivia, South America.
Wow.
Yeah, so I lived there from 8 to 16, And so that
What
was
an
an
impressionable
incredible
time.
experience. Yeah. And lived in Cochabamba for 4 years and Santa Cruz for 4 years. And so just an incredible experience. And then graduated in Florida from high school. And so, I really don't know where I'm from. That's what I say most of the time. But somewhere
You're almost like a military brat.
I know, right? Yeah.
Bouncing around.
Yeah. So then I came to the Arlington area to go to college, and then raised my kids up in Amarillo. So
And your degree?
Well, I started music and then studied interior design. So I'm a musician, and then I love design. And then I went into sales and marketing at 19 and stayed in that career, and then went into publications in 2006, and here I am today. So, yeah.
And for those that are not familiar with Frisco Life, the company is all independently owned and operated magazines. So you are in charge of your publication.
I am.
You have corporate guidelines to help you, but you have the freedom to make your magazine what you want it to be.
It really is it's an amazing opportunity for the community, and I take that very seriously. I mean, having an incredible staff, and then also the corporate backing is an amazing support. But just make sure you have the right people on your staff to help you and to grow the magazine, and we're doing that. So it takes a lot of people to put something like this together.
And you just took over the magazine not too long ago.
I did, May of 2019.
Okay, so you're coming up on your first anniversary.
It's very hard to believe. It is. Yeah, it's been really fast, and
And the publication has been around for about 4 years.
It has. 2016 is when it got its start.
But I don't think I ever remember it looking this good.
Thank you so much.
That's not only kudos to you, but to your staff.
Yes, thank you. We've worked really hard to push it out into the community, join the chamber right away, really make sure it goes in their welcome packs every month, and really just increase our distribution so more people start to see the magazine. That's really what it needed. And so just...
Is this something that you always wanted to do? Or did you just kind of fall into it?
I love...
Because you mentioned music.
So I love music. Yeah, that was still my therapy, I guess you say. I don't know if you've ever heard of the app called Shmuel, where you can... Okay, I've got to introduce you to that.
Okay.
So I think I've recorded like 7,000 songs on there. I just love to sing. So that's definitely my relaxing time, is to go sing, right?
Yeah, that's your alter ego.
And I go karaoke a lot. Yeah, I do. I go karaoke a lot. So I've got to go sing somewhere.
You have somebody has to write a feature about you for the magazine. my other life.
Yeah, where you can find Becka karaoke this weekend.
You may have to come up with a stage name.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or something to separate you from.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
That.
So you find out that hey, this publication is available. You said someone approached you.
They did on LinkedIn. Lifestyle Publications reached out to me and asked me if I would consider this, that the magazine was in need of a new owner and publisher, and I really was at a point in my life where I was really tired of working for other owners. I wanted to be have my own business, and I've always been very intrigued by doing that. And so about 5 interviews later, I decided to jump on board, and here I am. I took the magazine and hit the road running.
Less than a year ago.
Yes. So.
Now, the staff that you have today, was that pretty much the staff that...
No, I have everyone's new.
Everybody's new.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that must have been an initially kind of a challenge.
It was. That took a lot of time and energy to do that, as well as really pick the magazine back up and make sure it can continue and didn't have to go dormant or anything like that. And so we've been excited to see about 35% growth in the magazine. And
excellent.
Thank you. It's been exciting.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, what supports the magazine is basically your advertising.
Well,
and there's lots of good advertisers that are in the magazine. They also are good community pillars.
They really are amazing. We have amazing partners, and we definitely are looking for more to keep the magazine growing and being able to push it out there every month. You can't do that unless you have great partners.
Okay, so the next question I have for you.
Okay.
Do you have a big conference room and you sit down, weekly or something with all your writers and your staff, and you say, okay, here's the things that we're going to do this month. Who's got what, like you see in the movies?
I wished I could say that sounds really awesome and romantic and amazing. No, I really don't have that right now. In fact, that's kind of the next step for Frisco Life, is to find a permanent, office area here in Frisco. Right now, I have anywhere I meet, like Starbucks, Ascension Coffee.
That's your office.
That's my office. Anywhere,
mobile office.
Mobile office. Yes. I actually have my car set up that way. You wouldn't believe, I really do have an office inside my car. I do. Well, because I have to carry everything with me. And
you're not homeless, are you?
No,
living
I'm not.
in your car.
No, I just have my magazines in there. I'm just teasing you. But no, I office from home, and then wherever I meet my clients at their offices. But I meet with my staff, on video conferencing or in person, and we plan for each month. It's a fast pace. I mean, right now we're working on we're finishing up the April issue.
Yeah, I was going to say, people don't realize how far in advance you have to be.
Right. So March 5th is our deadline for the April issue, and on March 6th I'll be starting the May issue already. So it's crazy.
It
is crazy. We have to stay way out there, in front.
Yeah, I was mentioning to you before we went on the air that my wife and I were in the retail business.
Yes, that's awesome.
And, in the wintertime, we were buying for the following fall. We were always 12 months ahead. So when people were coming into the stores and buying what they saw as current on the rack, it was old to us because we had bought that a year ago, and we were waiting for it to come in and hit the public.
Yes.
But that's the way a lot of businesses operate. But I didn't realize that you're really working almost 60 days out.
We really are. And so I always have to let our new partners that are coming in know that. Like, we've already finished the March. We're really done. We're looking out into May now, and finishing up April. So if you want into the April issue, call me now, so that we can get you in before the 5th.
And for the advertisers, if they have specials or things that are going on
Always.
2 months out, they've got to prepare that in advance too.
They do. And then if you have community events that you would like, we have a lot of folks that will send us PR representatives of businesses that will send us PR releases and dates for events. We can't take them if they're not a month ahead. So always send us everything you have way out so that we can make sure we include it. We want to include everything that's going on. We just can't sometimes because we get it too late. Yeah.
So for those that are listening that have businesses and thinking, what, I got to check out this magazine.
Yes.
Don't think that if you've got a special going on this weekend, you're going to get in the magazine.
Right.
You've got to think about Mother's Day right now.
Exactly. We can always push it out for you on social media, and we love doing that. So, don't hesitate to reach out. We want to get it in the magazine as well, in print.
Now, if people do have questions like this, want to know more about advertising, want to know more about the operation of the magazine, they contact you directly?
Directly, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's the best number they can get you at?
214-326-6706.
Okay.
Yeah.
And otherwise, they can reach you at
Frisco Life
Pubs.
.com. Yes.
And somebody's going to say, "Oh, they got a pub?"
Yes, or they can find us on Facebook,
Okay.
Frisco Life page, and then we have a Frisco Life Instagram page. Always DM us, message us on LinkedIn as well. So it's we stay really
Your
busy.
Facebook page has a photo of the Heritage Plaza here in Frisco, which is kind of neat too.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So you the big cheese.
I don't think of myself that way.
But
yes,
you have to, because you know there are people that have areas of responsibility, but all of those pieces have to fit the puzzle.
They do.
And you're the one that has to make sure that they do fit.
We definitely have to. We want whatever we send out into the community to, like you said, be positive and uplifting. We are looking for stories that fit inside that, positivity about people's lives. So, we always want to make sure, you're right. We have to prove, make sure it gets out there in the right way.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, you have several categories of columns that you have in each, or stories. It's not a column because it's really a full page stories. each month that you like to do. How do you find the people to write those stories?
So our editor, Julie, is one of our main writers. She's an amazing writer. And so right now she does, I would say, the bulk of our writing. I've done some of our writing, our operations manager. I've also pulled in, I always look at the story and say, who's the best fit? Now, a really amazing section that we just started about 6 issues back is called Our Parting Thoughts, and it's called Corners of the Heart. I'm excited about this. It's the very last page of the magazine, and it's a very inspirational, that dives a little deeper into like sharing maybe your obstacles in life, adversity, how you pulled through something, just some struggles you might have had, but how you overcame. So I've really been able to bring in
kind of a self-help.
Yeah, it's really, but the response has been amazing for it. And I'm always looking for someone in the community of influence or just that would love to contribute to this, make this more of a community contribution, from here in Frisco. So that's been, I'm always looking for new authors for,
Excellent.
This column.
Well, you see, your magazine reminds me a lot of Lester Holt, who does the NBC Evening News.
Okay, yeah.
The last 2 minutes of every broadcast is a story, a feel-good story about a veteran, about a child, about something that is inspirational. And even though his newscast covers what's going on in the world, the good and the bad, and probably more bad than good, he always ends that show with this little 1 to 2 minute snippet that is something positive and uplifting. And by gosh, when you listen and the newscast is over, my wife and I look at each other and say, that was a great report.
Yeah.
Like CBS Sunday Morning, we follow that. 60 Minutes, an in-depth look at something that you would say, I didn't know that.
Right.
That's what I find in your publication.
Thank you.
There are a lot of stories about people and places and things that you didn't know about. And
it's awesome. I mean, I'm new to Frisco. I've only been in this area just barely 2 years, and then really didn't get involved with the community until May of 2019. So I'm finding all these stories for the first time, and it's intriguing to me. I'm like, and I know there's so many more out there. I love it, and then to watch when we go and interview and then those stories come together, you're like, wow, that was a lot more than I even realized. Right. Yeah.
Well, and I've been here 6 years, and when we moved here six and a half years, we were about 80,000 people. Now we're over 200,000 in a matter of 6 years.
It's amazing.
So when you talk about just coming in a year or so ago and saying, wow, what is all of this?
Right.
Fortunately, you have people on your staff that have been around and say, oh, there are, I see that. There are so many directions that you can go into. Now, you mentioned this last story in the publication. Is this something that you came up with?
Yes, I had, before I came and took the ownership as a publisher, I had a blog on Facebook, a writing page called Corners of the Heart. It's just a really important place in my life, and so I thought, how can I make this something that can be part of the magazine as well, but bring on other people to share their stories in an even deeper way, and make it the last part of the magazine, so when you're leaving the magazine, you leave with something that's inspirational and uplifting,
right?
And that maybe possibly could change your life, so that's important to me.
And we need it. We need that. We need that today more than ever.
Exactly.
I'm inspired.
Thank you.
You do a good job. You do good work for this community.
Thank you so much.
And we need it. And the beauty of our community is that we are so diverse in ethnic backgrounds, in religious beliefs.
Yes.
But it works in Frisco, and part of the reason that it works is because of publications like yours. Because I'm an old guy. I've lived a lot of places, and there are far too many places in my mind where people still have those blinders on. They're in their own little bubble, and they don't know really how to embrace everyone else.
Yes.
We live, fortunately, in a community that embraces everyone, and it's because people want to reach out and
Yeah.
meet their neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the ways to do it.
Yeah, I believe so too. I think I know one of the biggest. I had like several people from when I first, within the first couple of weeks, want to sit down with me, and there, 3 people asked me, didn't know each other, just totally random, people, like, what are you going to do, Becca, to make sure this magazine has diversity in it? And that was a hard question for me because I don't see the world that way, and it's probably because I've been raised in so many different countries and have, I love people, so that was an easy answer. I already think that way.
Right.
Including people and embracing everyone is really something that's really important to me.
It is important.
Yeah.
We have to pause for a break because that's what you do on the radio. But we will be right back with Becka Corbitt, who is the owner and publisher of Frisco Life and Someone You Should Know.
3, 2, 1. KVGIRadio.com.
Y'all have really just opened my bubble and just...
KVGI Radio brings you conversation and entertainment. Be sure to follow us on social media. Who streams the best talk shows? We do.
You're listening to KVGIRadio.com. Streaming live from the KVGI studios in Frisco, Texas. Live without limits.
Someone You Should Know. A program about people you know and even more that you don't. Hosted by Stuart Sachs, veteran, husband, father, and grandfather. Now, here's your host, Stuart Sachs.
And we are back and live without limits on KVGI Radio here in Frisco, Texas. And with us in the studio, Becka Corbitt, who is the owner and publisher of Frisco Life.
Yes.
I just even like saying that, Frisco
Thank
Life.
you. Yeah.
Because in 2 words, you have our city all
Covered.
summed up.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Your background, you said, was in interior design?
Music, interior design.
and all.
Yes.
Okay, so for those that are out there saying, well, how did you get to be a publisher? I know part of it is you said the magic words that a lot of people are often thinking about. You said, I spent some time in the corporate world, and there reaches a time in all of our lives where sometimes we say, I just don't know if I can take this corporate image anymore. I really want to do something for me, something because I have the talent to control something.
Yeah.
Where did that spark come for you and say, you know what, it's time for me to do something on my own? Because you're a married lady with a family, and sometimes those decisions get shelved because you say, wait, I better not spoil the status quo.
Gosh, that's a big question.
Yeah.
That's a big question.
Yeah. And don't you say yes.
How many minutes do we have?
We got time.
We have time. Well, goodness,
being in the corporate world, how did you, you said that LinkedIn reached out to you.
They did. I have to say, I don't know if I ever considered, I don't know if I could say I was in the corporate world. So when my kids were born, I was 21, I had twins, and I was a stay-at-home mom. So I always did jobs from home that I could learn about. I loved sales. I was really intrigued in sales and helping others with their marketing. And back then it was interior design. That was my dream, my goal. And so I was very involved in music and at that time and designing and helping people decorate their homes. So I found businesses that I could do from home and raise my kids at home. So I was very involved in doing that. That was a passion for me to be able to stay at home with my kids. And then as they grew up and left home, started venturing out and had jobs where I was still in the sales and marketing world. I took a publication back in 2006 up in the Amarillo Panhandle and worked that publication for 3 years.
Okay, so you had some of that experience.
Yes, and then but at that time I was still working for other publishers, other owners, and as an executive sales rep or accounts manager. And so I did that for many years. And then when this came my way, I was really I had been taking a sabbatical, about a 3-month sabbatical from a corporate position. And I was like, I really don't want to go back in working for someone else. And I hear that all the time. Like you were saying, there's so many people that are stepping away from that and starting something that they've always dreamed about doing for themselves.
And it's a risk.
It is a risk.
It's a great risk.
It's a huge risk. Yeah. But obviously this has been an amazing dream come true. For something in the Frisco market to come open like this was really very unusual. So I knew I'd better jump on it, while it was available.
Is your husband in this field at all?
No, he actually is a VP at JP Morgan Chase. He's more on the technical side, but he's actually been an incredible resource for me in our operations management side, and has been really instrumental in helping me in that area. So.
And the twins are how old now?
Do I have to answer that?
Well, no, you don't have to. No.
They're 30.
They're 30s?
Yes.
Well,
so, yeah.
You got married when you were 10. And
You're so nice. Thank you. So, yeah, they're 30 years old, and I have 5 grandchildren.
Wow.
Yes, I do. Yeah, and they are so sweet. And we can talk all day about grandchildren.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
Are any of them interested maybe in anything like this?
I think they're too young still. The oldest is 7, and then there's a 3-year-old and 3 little babies that were all born within the same year. So
and where are they located? Are they?
Yeah. So my daughter is up in Perryton, Texas, way up in the Texas Panhandle. My son's in Amarillo, and then we have 2 daughters that are here in this area. So
you said that you were spent quite a bit of time in Amarillo.
Did.
We know that's Tornado Alley, and also
they always seem to make their way around us. So I don't know what that was all about. Yeah.
Well, we moved here from 10 years 20 years actually in South Florida, but 10 of them in the Keys. And so we, every summer
you hunker down.
was hurricane season.
Yeah.
The only difference, major difference, was they would start telling you when a hurricane left the coast of Africa and they track it across the ocean. Tornadoes can happen within moments.
It's crazy. Yeah, but yeah, I know exactly what to do in a tornado. I've just never, thank God, have been in that direct hit, which don't ever want to be. So. And
all of these experiences, of course, can become a source of an article for the magazine.
Right.
So
definitely.
Now, do you sometimes come up with some of these ideas and say, you know what, I'd like to do an article about this, but then you find a writer to do the article?
Yes, I'm very involved in all of our creative process. I mean, that's important.
From your car.
Maybe I shouldn't have shared that.
Hello, this is Becca. I need for you to do an article for me.
That's awesome. That's not how I meant it. Stuart, that's not how I meant it.
You do the article. I'll swing by and pick it up.
We can meet in my back seat.
That's right. Yeah. We'll go through the Starbucks drive-through.
That's awesome. I'm never going to live this down now, ever. Thanks a lot, Stuart. That's funny. Now you've got me totally. You got me all messed up here.
Just stop and think about how boring it's going to be when you finally do get an office.
I know. I'm excited. I won't know what to do.
Right.
It's funny.
But I was just talking about
back on track.
Yeah, I'm just fascinated when you are the publisher of a magazine. I mean, unless it is a magazine that is just, cookie cutter. Yes. Every month it's exactly the same, the same columns and the same, on page 14 is always the same column, but it's just updated.
No,
we
don't have that.
You have to make it fresh every month.
Yeah, I'm always looking for, anytime I even meet with that. One of the unique things about Frisco Life is when we bring our partnering advertisers in, one of the added values that we give them is to allow them to be part of our content. So we want to tell their story. We want to feature them. We want to not only tell the story about their business, but about their hobbies, about their family. So that allows us quite a really nice array of story ideas, right? And but it's also important because when you open up your business, I always call it like opening up the heart of your business. You can put an ad all day long in a magazine, but when you open that up and tell your story, that draws people to your ad and to your business. They want to do business with you. You become real to them.
That's right. And there's only so much you can do in a quarter page or a half page, even a full page.
Yes.
You have to tell an entire story in a limited area. So, and from my perspective, that business, I want to know about the owner.
Right.
He's someone that you should know.
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit like yourself.
Yeah.
You're the publisher of a magazine, but you have an interest in music.
Yes.
And you have an interest in interior decorating and design.
Right.
People very often say, well, doesn't that mean that she's a little bit disconnected? No. What it means is that all of those pieces come together to help you focus on what you're doing.
And I can actually show you how to set up an office in your car.
That's right. A mobile corporation.
So anyway, like right here, Heritage Dental Studio, that's in our latest issue, March. We did a beautiful 3-page article on one of our advertising partners, brand new. So, I mean, that's what we're doing. That's where we get some of our stories, then constantly asking, looking, discovering other stories by just researching and reaching out to people, and then people come to us as well.
And speaking of that, you have photographers on staff?
So we always make sure that when we do a story on our partners, that we send out our staff photographer, and he does a professional photo shoot for them. And then we want to make sure we provide a beautiful array of photos, in the magazine.
Which it does, because that's one of the first things that you notice is that everything is done in beautiful full color.
Yes, important.
And it that tells a story too.
It definitely does. Yes. And also the way we lay out the magazine is we allow for a lot of what they call white space, as you'll see right here. And so that makes where you're not reading just one full page after another of content. Instead, the content's very engaging, and it makes you want to read it, right?
Right. Like the newspaper, where every little
Yes.
speck of the paper is covered in print.
Right.
And I'm gonna just switch directions just a little bit, because we live in a social media world
Yes.
today where everything is instantaneous on our phones, and I have a 10-year-old grandson, and I rarely see him sit down with a book, because everything that he has he can find on an iPad or on the phone.
Yeah.
What do you perceive, having just gotten into the publishing business? What is the future of paper, magazines, newspapers, information in that regard? Is someday everything going to be digitized?
I don't think so. I mean, right now, print still is the number one way to reach the homes that we're targeting. And what is very interesting is people are now, because think about it, we do all of our work on our phone all day long. We really don't carry our laptops around, our iPads much anymore. It's all right here on our phone. So by the time we get to a coffee shop or home, we want to put our phones down. We want to put our work down. And so people are actually picking up print. There's actually studies that show that holding something in your hand and flipping through it, it's you're going to engage more with that. So we're seeing that print's actually making a comeback, and people are actually wanting. Now, I do think it has a lot to do with the design, the look. We want to make sure we are, like, it's very highly engaging, and so that the content's relevant and local to the area where you're looking to read about, so that's why everything you'll find in Frisco Life is hyper local. We don't bring in national content. We don't need to. There's so many amazing stories here.
That was a point that I wanted to make also, is because, I mean, every day in my mailbox is catalogs.
Right.
There's a tremendous expense that goes along with publishing all of those catalogs to send to people in the hopes that they will go through and they will buy the products that are there.
Right.
Some of those catalogs have disappeared because they reach you by social media or by the computer. But the content of something like Frisco Life, what it does again is it takes the world and puts that aside and says, this is your community.
Yeah.
This is within a 10 or 20 mile radius.
Yeah.
And everything in that magazine is
local.
You can wrap your arms around it. You can go visit it.
Yes.
You can feel good about it. If it's an article about a particular doctor and a procedure that he is doing, you may say to yourself, wow, they're doing that in my backyard. It's not that this is an article about a doctor in Seattle that's doing this procedure.
Which is so disappointing if you think about it, when you pick up a local magazine and you can't even go visit what you're reading about right here. It's too far away. Or now we do want to bring in destinations, something where we just did one where you can go to Granbury and there's, beautiful places where you can go and stay and get away. But we also want to make sure we give people the opportunity to go somewhere further, so we will bring in articles that are great getaways,
Well, Frisco itself is becoming a destination.
Getaway. Exactly.
And with all of the things that there are to see in our own city, there's a resource for a column, an article every month.
For what there is to do here.
Time.
They say that, I just heard the other day that it was a business gentleman that was visiting with me said that New York is actually talking more about Frisco than Frisco is talking about Frisco. So people know about Frisco. I think we forget that sometimes.
Sure. California is talking a lot about Frisco because a lot of corporations are leaving there and coming to Frisco and the North Texas area.
It's happening like crazy right now.
And the more that do, the more source there is for letting the public know about it.
Definitely.
Now, the magazine is available, of course, online. You can get a subscription online, or how if people want to have it delivered to their home.
So Frisco Life is a direct mail piece. We actually mail there's 10,000 copies that go out throughout Frisco every month. 7,000 of those copies are mailed directly to homes that value from 500 to over 3 million. It's our target audience. 500 magazines are mailed directly to businesses. I deliver with my team a little over 300 magazines a month. We put them in the new homeowner packs with the Frisco Chamber. So we're really, but you can always reach out to us. We'll add you to our mailing list if you're not receiving the magazine, and so we can get it mailed right to you. But it's not a subscription, and we're not depending on drop-off locations for the magazine.
And again, at
FriscoLifePubs.com. Yes.
Or the phone number.
Yes.
214-326-6706.
Yes, ask for me,
And
Becca.
she'll say, just a moment. She'll roll up the window in
Hey,
the car,
stop it,
so we
Stuart.
can have
Stop
a little
it, Stuart.
so we can have a little more privacy.
Hey, hopefully, I bet somebody's going to call and tell me about an office space they have available. I bet that's what's going to happen today.
You're sitting in a building right now that's an
Hello,
office building.
I know that.
right here. You can get an office space right here. How many do you have on your staff? And
yeah.
Tell the folks maybe about some of the people that you've engaged with on your staff.
Yeah, so our editor's Julie Brown Patton, amazing lady. So
she
much
have a
experience.
history of
she
in
does
publication?
journalism.
Okay.
Yes, she's incredible. She does a lot of our writing. Jessica DeWitt is our social media coordinator. She's actually a stay-at-home mom who wants to make. She's a nurse, but right now raising her little girls, and she's working for 2 publishers, myself and one out of Oklahoma at this time, and has an incredible social media business of her own. So she's great. And then, like I said, we have writers. Philip Slaughter is our staff photographer. And then contributing writers, I'd have to, they've had so many so that have contributed to the magazine.
And your staff photographer.
Yes, Philip Slaughter, and then myself, and then of course Scott helps with a lot of our operations side of things. And so locally, that's right now who I have on my team. So. And then we have our corporate backing, which helps me a lot with my layout and the printing of the magazine and distribution.
Yeah, and you said that the magazine is not printed here in Frisco.
No,
that's all printed corporate in
Kansas City. Right. Yes, and then mailed out. Yeah.
So that's why you have to have those deadlines, because everything has to go to corporate in order to be laid out and printed and then published and distributed.
It's very fast. By the 1st of every month, I have to have everything done in my editorial. Totally. So if you have anything you want to submit to the magazine, always get it to me before the 1st of the month. And then, because after that, I can't accept anything for that previous month.
Yeah. If it's generic enough that it can be bumped to the next month.
Exactly.
If necessary. If it's timely, folks, you're out of luck.
Yeah. But we always want to get anything we can into the magazine. We have, like you were mentioning, we have Around Town, which is a press release section. Always going to see that in every issue. We have Good Times, which is our event pictures. If you have event pictures, we would need like 6 high-res pictures that you want to submit. We'll do a little bit of content there. Then you can always submit to our lifestyle calendar. So those 3 sections will always be there, and promoting things that are going on. Then we have our features, like you were saying, giving back. Oh goodness, there's Hotspot. Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, locally owned, open house. So many.
And then now the new
Corners of the Heart.
The newest one is Corners of the Heart,
yes.
which now that's one that you have been writing yourself.
I've been writing it, but actually excited that the last probably 4 or 5 months we've had local business owners or just local people, influencers in the community that have contributed to that with their own personal stories.
Oh.
Yeah. It's been really great.
I may have to sit down at the old keyboard.
I would love to invite you to write. Actually, our men's issue will be in June. And I would love for you to contribute to that.
Now that's the kind of deadline I can handle.
Hey, we're at May, so
that's right.
So would you accept that invite?
I think I would.
Okay.
I think I'd like to write an article.
Okay, that'd be great.
Just tell me what you want to do.
All right, I will.
Or I'll do one of Corners of the Heart.
Yeah.
For you.
That'll be great. We'll go have a cup of coffee and we'll visit about that.
We'll just meet in the back seat of your car.
That doesn't sound good, Stuart.
Yes, I'll take that double latte and just put it in the back seat. We'll talk.
This has really turned out.
Look,
awesome.
Seinfeld. He's got his TV show about going out for coffee with people.
That does sound like a Seinfeld thing. See?
Yeah.
It was on purpose, all of it.
Hey, look, the overhead is very very reasonable. Right.
I know. Except yesterday I had a mishap. Do you want to know about it?
Yeah.
I was pulling out of my garage, and all of a sudden I heard this like bang, and my side mirror just was hanging. I caught it on the side
of the garage. But see,
so
now
it's in the shop now.
Yeah,
so.
but it's a business expense.
That's great because it's my office.
Right. So, you don't have to put on your homeowner's insurance. It's a business expense.
Right.
Fix it and bill me.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
That's fine. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking
Thank
the
you
time
so
to be
much.
with us.
I can't believe we're ending on that note about my office. This is great.
Well, Becka Corbitt, owner
Thank you so
and
much.
publisher of Frisco Life. Get the magazine, enjoy the magazine, and thank you again for
Thank you
being
so
a
much.
guest
This
on the
was
show.
an honor. Awesome. Thank you so much, Stuart.
Okay. That'll do it. We'll catch you next week.